What is entertainment? All relationship is a dialogue of some nature. And in order to be entertaining for anyone, that dialogue has to have something to do with the dialogue in the witness or in the observer. Because if I talk about the distinctions of sushi and you have no interest and no familiarity about sushi, and that's the dialogue, it's not entertaining to you. So what is entertainment? Entertainment is the fixation of attention. To be entertaining, the very first step of the entertainer is to capture the attention of the observer. And the second thing is to engage a wide range of emotions in the observer. And it's very puzzling as a cult or culture that most of us receive not even an hour of science-based emotional literacy. But all meaning about all things to a human being is through the lens of emotions or feelings. If you don't feel anything, then it has no meaning. Meaning comes from feeling. But what do you feel about? The basis for feeling is empathy, and the doorways to empathy are memory, are present patterns of engagement, which are sometimes projected into the future. So the strongest emotional relationship I can form with you is to speak about a pattern of energy that relates to your past, to your present, and your predicted future, number one. Number two, that correlates with your human needs. There's nothing more fundamental than the need to survive, the need to feel secure in that survival, the need to experience love and belonging, the need to earn self-esteem, to have values and take steps to embody those values, the need to develop your unique gifts and abilities, the need to take those abilities out into the world, to make them matter, and to succeed at bringing your abilities into the world, and then to become part of something bigger than you on the other side of that success. Now, that last step, transcendence, is the last step because it's not transcendence to completely fail at self-development and simply shape oneself into something that isn't ourselves, that does not lead to survival, security, love and belonging, self-esteem, development of gifts, bringing those gifts into the world. And just be identify with something bigger than self. Because there isn't a self to move beyond. The first 6 human needs are about realizing the self. Once you've realized the self, then you've got something to transcend that is meaningful to you and an audience. So, we don't have the same emotional reaction because of that hierarchy of human needs to giving one's life to Jesus before we sort out survival, security, love and belonging, self-esteem, developing a gift, becoming successful at bringing abundance into the world with that gift. But to do all of that well, and then to move beyond it, now we're looking at transcending something, and that something is you. And the strongest emotional connection that's there for everyone is pain. Meaning every human being is predisposed to feel pain. And in a traumatized cult or culture, the greatest pain is current or past trauma. And the greatest fear is always correlated to pain. And so one of the easiest and most reliable ways to connect to everyone is through pain and the fear of pain. So if you take someone into a pain in a way that they can empathize with, because they can imagine how they would feel in that situation, and you show the pattern of pain in a way that creates fear of re-experiencing and re-exposure to the pain. And then you overcome that fear, because at that point, pain and fear are your deities. The biggest deity that is always there as a default is pain and the fear of pain. And the question is, will your life be defined by pain and the fear of pain for the rest of your life? Will you be a fear-based person? Or is there something valuable enough to you that's worth risking that pain to overcome your fear of pain in order to achieve it? And that, in many ways, is the hero's journey. The status quo, the descent into crisis, into trauma, and then the question, does the trauma knock you out or not? Well, that suspense is valuable in entertainment because it's relevant to each one of us. Every human being has a pain and has a fear of pain that has the possibility of taking them out. And the question is, will we drown in addiction and avoidance and mediocrity, or will we face the fear of pain for something bigger? So this is the chosen deity. Something bigger than the fear of pain. Is anything worth that, inside or out? That's a suspense, and that's a question for every human being. And every individual exists in an ecology of cult or culture and external environment. And the cult and culture and the external environment all reward certain things and punish other things. And usually what's rewarded is the status quo. What's rewarded is being a good boy or a good girl in an American, for example, in the American cult. Be a good boy, a good girl, be good looking, get married, have sex, buy things, do something in an established career, be a doctor, do something established, rise in rank, and that's will be rewarded. But the deepest truth inside of us, nature likes diversity, because diversity wins in ecological mathematical formulas. Diversity, which means being part of a distinct minority, because you don't get diversity without being a minority. If you're part of a 4,000-acre monocrop of corn, you have no diversity. You have very little ecological resilience, and you contribute little or nothing to the sustainability of the species. But if you become something that is completely and utterly unique, where there's only one like you, where you could play a pivotal role in the drama of evolution and life, that's what nature wants. And there's a drive. There is a divergent point. There's a specific set of yeses and nos that lead us to a place that feels true to the mathematics of the psyche. And that place is unique, misunderstood, vulnerable, alone in the cult of normalcy. And as you diverge from the norm, you head out into the woods, into the weeds, into the unknown. Because if everyone knew it, it wouldn't be unique. And this is what sets you up for an extraordinary success or an extraordinary failure, or sometimes just going insane and going crazy in the weeds. And it's not clear until the story ends. Are you going to end up in this camp or the other? And that's the case with every meaningful life. It's not clear, sometimes until the last few years, how all these divergent pieces fit together. And that's entertainment. In other words, to portray a story that captures at its heart the most fundamental human journey, that tells the story of you.